So as we've seen over the past few exercises, setting up the design for the low resolution is a little bit more fiddly because we're dealing with such a narrow width, right? So hopefully this is going well for you, and hopefully it's going at a decent pace for you as well. Let's go after the 3 content boxes. I'm going to go after the first one here, and then we'll take care of the other 2 in just a moment. So inside your layers panel, of course, make sure you're on content box 1. Let's go ahead and set his background color or his color overlay, of course. No problems there. That's nice and easy. Now, as far as the content goes, I'm going to go and grab some of the content out of the medium resolution layout that we have here. So this is the Emily Dickinson photograph that we have here from of course, our Flickr user. Okay, so I've got to go and find that content once again inside that file's layers panel. So give me a moment here to twist shut the navigation menu layer group, and I will twist open the content box 1 layer group. There's no slideshow inside the low resolution layout, of course, so we're jumping right into the content boxes. All right, let's see. It's the Vector Smart object that I want. That's the title, the experience inside the first content box. I hope you can see that okay, as well as the Emily Dickinson photograph. So I'm going to grab these 2 objects and I will drag and drop them over into the low resolution file, something like this. And then, of course, with these layers still selected, the objects still selected, I'm going to go and position them inside the low resolution file. Okay, something like this. Now, we have to kind of decide how we want to handle this. Do we want to have the photograph and the text, even though the text is kind of getting cut off? We'll deal with that in just a second. Do we want to have that content centered, just like the logo, or do we want to have it sitting over towards the left-hand side like it is in the medium resolution layout? We really have to decide for ourselves how we want to do this, okay? So it could take a little bit of fiddling to actually pull this off. I think what I'm going to wind up doing is perhaps something like this. I'm going to grab the Vector Smart object and the Emily Dickinson layer there, and I'll position them over towards the left as I've done there. And then the title itself, the experience, I'm going to try pulling it down just a little bit. I'm just tapping my down arrow key on my keyboard. I still have my move tool selected inside the toolbox, of course, just to pull this down just a little bit. And then I think I'm going to have to scale these guys as well. So I'll grab both layers and then use my free transform, and I'll have to scale them down just a little bit. Perhaps something like that. Hopefully should be okay. Okay, maybe I decide for the low resolution that the text shouldn't spill, the title shouldn't spill outside the top of the content box. So I'm going to pull everything inside the blue content box, something like this. Okay, but again, it's up to you. You've got to decide as the designer, as the developer here, how you want things to look. I think for myself, something like this looks decent. It looks pretty good. All right, now we have some placeholder text that we want to insert here as well. This is going to require a little bit of adjustment on our part as well. I'm going to grab my Vector Smart Object layer, this fellow right here, and then I'll flip back over to the medium resolution layout. There's the Lorem Ipsum placeholder text layer inside the medium resolution layout. I'll grab this layer and, you guessed it, of course, drag and drop this guy over. Okay. Now, this is going to, as I said just a second ago, require a little bit of adjustment, a little bit of fiddling on our part to get this looking half decent. So I have this huge text frame here. I think what I'm going to wind up doing is I'm going to be doing some scaling here, and I'm also going to be doing some text size adjustment here as well, possibly anyway. I'm going to tap my T key on my keyboard to get myself into my type tool, click inside the text to open up the text frame. Really, it's the resize handles that I'm after here on the left and right sides of this text frame, and also possibly the top. Maybe I'll pull the top down just a little bit, something like that. So you got to remember too that this is going to be viewed on a handheld device, so probably what will wind up happening is we'll have to increase the size of the text just to make it legible on a handheld device, on a low resolution device, right? So if I go and select all the text inside here, Control or Command A, after I have the frame resized there, My font size is about 16.5 points, so it's pretty big already. Maybe I decide I want to increase that to 18 point or possibly a little bit larger, something like this. Again, we have to think about usability. So in any regard, you may want to fiddle with that once again a little bit on your own. Okay. Once we are finished up here, we can head back to the toolbox and grab our move tool. That looks okay. I'm not sure that I'm pleased with that, but I think I will leave it for now. Of course, we can do lots of fiddling and adjustment once we get into HTML and CSS, but I think for now, as far as the mock-up here inside Photoshop is concerned, I think that looks okay. So we just need to create our layer group inside the layers panel. So let's go ahead and do that. Grab all of your layers here using Controller Command G to create the group, and we'll call this Content Box 1. Perfect. We only have 2 more to go.